everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Not going to take up too much of your time today because guess what? Tomorrow is the all call-in show, so I felt like I could take a little bit more time and try to watch Barack. I didn't get a chance to watch what's the child name? I didn't get a chance to watch Kamala, so y'all let me know what she's saying. If y'all in there, let me know what she's talking about, because I didn't get a chance to watch her and hear her talk and talk her talk and walk her walk and do whatever she was gonna do. So I didn't get a chance to hear it. So for those of you who did hear it and did participate, please let me know. I got to watch most of Barack. If he ain't still on, I don't know if he's still on or not, but I think I got to watch most of him. So please, fam, before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the bell. Please hit that bell for me to make sure you are getting notifications. You can go to donatebrown.com. And actually what I was trying to figure out while I was waiting too was if I could find a way to stream it live while I'm talking, because that's fair use, YouTube. If I can stream it and do, I would love to do that. I would especially love to do that if I could do it. Ooh, that would be wonderful. Anyway, I'm figuring it out. But fam, please do everything I just told you to do. You can go to patreon.com/ycarnell as well if you are so inclined. But so many free ways to help the show. So please, please, please do that. Fam, we don't have a whole lot to talk about today. Like I said, please do not forget. I want to reiterate. Do not forget that tomorrow is the day. Actually, I think I'm going to try to announce the book club for tomorrow. And also, if you have not, ever joined us, if you have never joined us for a call-in, that's when you get to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Throw it in the kitchen sink, and we'll probably finish off talking about tonight as well. So don't forget, that is tomorrow. Since I don't have to load up any images or anything like that, we get started around 9:30. Then we get started right on time. Now, I really want to see if I can stream some of that stuff that they're going to be doing with the convention and stuff. So I'll let you know about that though. But please come in. If somebody's watching Kamala, please keep me updated. Please keep me updated. I sure would appreciate it. But fam, let's get started. We got to talk about something. The thing we got to talk about is the end of race. We've kind of touched on it before. We've touched on it, but we've never delved into it. And we got to have a conversation about it because of what the DNC is doing and what Michelle Obama is doing and what Barack is doing, talking about the seeds of equality was planted in the Constitution and all that stuff. We got to have a conversation about it. About the lens through which we are being American or considered American. You see, something very interesting happened tonight at the DNC convention. And we're all Americans and I have no issues with anybody. I bear no animus towards people who don't bear animus towards me. But I heard Barack Obama say something while he was talking and I saw all the stuff at the DNC that said immigration is our origin story. That's what the man said. Now, Barack Obama's father was Kenyan and his mother was a white woman and was American. Both very respectable people, I'm sure. And he said, except for Native Americans, we all came from somewhere else. And he said it as if the somewhere else don't matter. And the whole DNC, in order to kind of, before this came on, in order to kind of make this our origin story, what they all said, now they brought up, please don't forget, they brought up the image of the other day of the black woman in the New York Times elevator who said Joe Biden was her friend. Right? Now, we've been working in elevators for decades. We've been working as maids and servants and butlers for as long as we can count. Somehow her thinking that because that thing went viral with her, that Biden is her friend, that was our story. The gun story and that Biden be in my elevator. Right? Biden be in my elevator, and I know whatever I tell him in the elevator, he takes it on and he believes in it, and he cherishes my story. That was our story. That was our moment. That's always been our moment if you think about it. It's always been our moment to be the work. And no disrespect to the woman. I understand what you do. You do the same thing my mama did. But we shouldn't be still doing the same things this long after. You see that, and we are the origin story. What you have to understand is that we are the origin story. Slavery is the origin story. They're replacing one origin story with another. The origin story is this country, is the original sin. And somebody will say to me, well, Yvette, I think the killing of the Native Americans is the original sin. Well, that's fine. But a Native American has to make that case to me, not your white self or not your black self. That everybody got to stop taking everybody else's stories. You can't steal nobody else's story and try to make it your own to make a case against ADOS. Tell me about what your story is and about what your contribution is, because this is the end of race and the beginning of lineage. One thing has died and one thing has been born. The only problem is you can't end race without making us whole. I agree, end it, because race is an invention of white supremacists to keep my group tethered on the bottom while they let a whole bunch of other people become white. So I agree, end race. I'm done with it. Throw it in the trash. But you can't do that until you make me whole. Well, there's one way you could do that, though. There's one way you could do that if you make somebody else's origin story the original origin story and not the origin story of slavery. If you replace origin stories are important, family. If you replace origin stories and you make everybody think, not to say, we're not saying that immigrants in this country have not made a contribution. I'm not saying that. But we know the influx came post 1965, right? The biggest influx, right? Before then, you're to the right of the decimal point. We know 1965 was the year. Hold on. Black people have been here since 1619. How you going to be the origin story and you wasn't here? Huh? If you were not here, how are you the origin story? Let's just do the math on this thing. You can't not be here and be the origin story. How we gonna do that? Where they do that at? See, this is a problem. This is a real problem. Origin stories matter. Obama is black. We are ADOS. Right? But if you replace one origin story for another, then you replace the debt and you say the debt isn't to ADOS in terms of reparations. We all owe a debt to immigrants because that's the origin story. Imagine the Barack Obama that we turned. Understand that in terms of Latinos, they voted in 2008 like 70 something percent for Obama. We broke like 96% or something for him. Right? Understand that person coming and telling you that you are not the origin story. We as ADOS are not the origin story. He's saying another group is the origin story. Understand, family, something very nefarious is happening here. And look at all the frames. These are all the frames I'm putting up that were from the DNC. That basically said immigrants are the origin story. They are the reason that we're here, and we all come from immigrants. We're all the same except Native Americans. We all came from somewhere else. This is a flattening and an erasure. And this is why race gotta go. But race can't go fully until we get reparations. Because you've tethered us to the bottom using race. But everybody now, see, it's kind of like what I explained last show about Kamala. Understand something. Kamala, we have this idea in our heads that Kamala can somehow be from a group. When we talk about Asians and South Asians and Indians, when we talk about Indian Americans and that group that has more wealth than white people, when you understand that a brown group has more wealth than white people, right? And it's not just more wealth, it's also the capacity to build that kind of wealth. What you understand is that race is over. It's not about race. It's not about skin color at that point. Because they did it and they're browner than us. And they were considered white. Right? They had a whole period where they considered white. And they could put white on the birth certificate. Imagine if my sharecropper mama or anybody else who's Negro went and tried to put that on a birth certificate, what that would look like. Just imagine that. We could never do that. You have been able to access whiteness but still get the affirmative action that should have designated for ADOSness. But because you have accessed whiteness as a brown person, there is no more race. There is no more solidarity through melanin. All that is over with. Race is over. This is the death of race about to be. And the rise of lineage. And the lineage that gets reparations is ADOS. The lineage that gets help because of how it was treated is ADOS. Nobody else, because all of the people who we're talking about in these images, you immigrated here voluntarily. You don't owe anything. If you walk into a burning house and you get blisters, you don't come out, I can't. It's awful what happened. I didn't, but you know what it was. We told you what it was. We've been on TV as ADOS for a long time telling you what America do, how it is. We know what it is. And then there was something very disrespectful. Very disrespectful towards the end of that thing. Did y'all see what I saw? Let me put this up big. Did y'all see what I saw when they were talking about immigration? They brought this up. It's a whole lineage theft going on. This came up. This is the Statue of Liberty, for those of you who do not know. Understand that the Statue of Liberty came up when they were talking about immigration, which is very interesting to me. Because as those of you who watched this show for a while know, the Statue of Liberty was created to celebrate freed slaves, not immigrants. Which the new museum talked about. This is not what it's supposed to be about. This is not what it's about. How do you get on TV and demand my vote while stealing my lineage? While stealing my justice claim and giving it away? How do you get to demand my vote, Michelle? We're going to get to you in your $11 million house. This is what we are watching, family, is lineage theft. The Statue of Liberty belongs to us. They have decided to gift it to another group. It's ours. It is ours. And how do we let this stand? That's my question. That's the biggest question I have. How does this stand? How do we allow this to happen, that you just make the Statue of Liberty yours? And we already know the museum said what it was invented for. And even during the day, do y'all know how disrespectful that is? You know what the Statue of Liberty stands for, but you won't let me have it. You won't let me have it. You want me to be your mule. All you want from ADOS is a mule. You want something to carry votes to you so you can have power and we still live in poverty. That day is over. That day is over. So listen, Michelle, I got something to say about you because you said some real little slick stuff. Because let me tell you, I'm tired of you, Michelle. You know why I'm tired of you? You've been co-signing a lot of people as ADOS when they ain't ADOS. Your own husband to be one. You knew who that man was. You knew who you married. You married into the bag, though. I'm going to say it. You did that and you had the bag too, and it was going to be two bags together. Right? That's what it was going to be, and that's what it is. But please understand how disrespectful it is for you to get on there and talk about who Kamala gonna be. And the only reason we had voted for Obama was because he was loving you. Yeah, we said this is a black woman from Chicago. And if he loved her, he gotta love us. And she wouldn't do us like this. That's what we said about you. But you say a lot of slick stuff yourself. And so Kamala's using the sister girl line to kind of, yeah, well, you know. And let me show you something. Let me show you what Michelle said. Let me show you something else she said. Because this is what the title is about of this video. Here's what Michelle said. This is not the time to withhold our votes in protest or play games with candidates who have no chance of winning. We have to vote like we did in 2008 and 2012. That's what Michelle is telling us that we have to do. Let me say something. Let me be very clear with Michelle Obama. I need Michelle Obama to understand something. Because obviously she don't. So let me see if I can pull it up. So Michelle Obama understands some things. You're right. We did turn out. We turned up and we turned out for 2008 and 2012 for your husband. Even though we've never had an ADOS president, we turned out for him because you and Jesse Jackson and everybody else said that he was blackity black the same way that we blackity black. You co-signed him. We turned red states blue for you. We sat outside in lawn chairs for you. Cat Williams got on TV for you and said he loved Michelle. Michelle wear luster silk in her hair. He gotta love us. We did all that for you. What did we get, Michelle? Because we're going to get to all this stuff, Michelle, you said about empathy and how we have to have empathy. But what did we get, Michelle? Because we're going to get to all this stuff, Michelle, you said about empathy and how we have to have empathy. But what did we get, Michelle? Because we're going to get to all this stuff, Michelle, you said about empathy and how we have to have empathy. But what did we get, Michelle? Because we're going to get to all this stuff, Michelle, you said about empathy. But what did we get, Michelle? for all this turning up and turning out. Oh, and we turned up and we turned out, and we were so happy and stupid. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We turned out. Now, I'll tell you what we got. I'll tell you what we got with Obama. It's very easy to understand. We got a lot of new white millionaires. Our wealth as ADOS was eviscerated. What else we got? The evisceration of wealth, of black wealth, the little wealth we had, right? Because you didn't hold any of the bankers accountable either. They gave us subprime everything. And your boy Eric Holder let all of them get off. That's what we got when we showed up and showed out, Michelle. We got gutted. What's going on, sis? We got gutted as a group. And so part of the reason, if you're wondering why we're still not turning out, or we have some kind of, I always say we still have to turn out, and we have to turn out for down ballot, but not you. You don't get to tell me what to do, Michelle. You failed. Don't get up here and talk blackity black to black to me, because I know what happened during the housing crisis. I know, listen, something different would have happened if you had held them accountable. If y'all want to read a book, go and read the book. Go and read the book, Confidence Men. I can't remember who it's by. I read it during that whole period. Go and read that book if y'all want to read a book. The book talks about how Obama got all these bankers in a room, all of them, and basically said, I'm your friend. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you and make sure you don't get in trouble. Even Elizabeth Warren was in that book. Elizabeth Warren said, they asked us, they said, what does Obama think about this? You know what Elizabeth Warren said? She said, Obama don't talk to me. He talks to bankers. That's your man. Ain't that your man's, Michelle? That's your man's, right? He failed. You failed. When you fail me, you don't get a chance to tell me what to do or what to be or how I got to turn out. We turned out. See, you could have changed the whole trajectory of everything for Black America. All you had to do, especially ADOS America, is show up for us. It was your husband, Michelle. You're ADOS. You're one of us, Michelle. You let your husband tell Ta-Nehisi Coates that he don't think we should have reparations because immigrants might get mad. That's your husband. That's your man's. He failed us. You failed us. Had you showed up, people forget that the first 2 years, Obama had a Democratic Congress. People forget that. He didn't do nothing with it but squander it with some hodgepodge healthcare bill that still costs too much. Is there anybody out there that pays for healthcare as a small business owner or as a LLC or as anything? Is anybody out there who pays for their own insurance? Because I want to know how much you pay, because I know I pay $500 a month. I just want to know, what do you pay? All that, well, we got here. I don't know what nobody else. I understand what this stuff. Let me tell you, the stuff Obama did works if you're stable. Like if you're stable and you just need something that covers you because you have cancer, but you got insurance, but and you can't get the good stuff or whatever. This don't. Listen, do you know how much 500? That's a car note, Michelle. That's what we got. You see, if you had done things differently, if your man had done things differently, we would still be coming out to vote. It don't even matter if he was successful. If your husband, the man that you married, if he had fought for us, if he had fought for us, he was arguing it's not like he tried to do reparations, and because Congress, the Senate, whatever, and Congress, it flipped, and so he couldn't do it. Well, I got some Republicans, they standing in the way. Mitch McConnell said XYZ. And it's not like I was pushing for this thing and it just didn't work. We give you credit for the fight. You didn't fight for us. You didn't care. And you didn't care because you're not anchored in us, Barack. And Michelle, you didn't care, I guess, because you got a good life. Because look, let me show you something. It looks to me like in terms of, it might not be going good for a lot of people right now, but you're telling me what I should do. You're telling me, let me get this up again, that we can't play games. That's what you're telling me, Michelle. You're telling me we can't play games with the vote. Now, This is not the time to withhold votes in protests or play games with candidates who have no chance of winning. She says, we have to vote like we did in 2008 and 2012. Why? You gutted labor laws. You made us all Uber drivers. It was your husband. That's your man. That was your man that did that. How many people left the Obama administration and went to work with Uber? He gutted labor laws so that you don't have any protection. So now if you drive an Uber and you don't have no protection, and Uber might go out of business in something like California, had a bunch of stuff they're trying to make them employees. Your husband did that, Michelle. You don't now, after your husband does that, you don't now get to come and tell me what to do, sis. And don't talk to me as a black woman when you didn't stand up for black people. Don't do it. And don't talk to me about what we need to do. Don't say we this and we that and we this. You ain't suffering at all. You know, for the majority of ADOS, the Obama administration didn't turn out too good. But for you, you had a good life. It turned out pretty good for you. Because y'all went and bought a mansion on Martha's Vineyard for $11.75 million. So I don't even know what you mean when you say we. We have to do this and we have to do that. You would never let Trump with his wild self. He would never get away with doing Uber and making everybody into taxi drivers without no laws and no employee and no protection and no health insurance. Your husband got away with it though. And you say we with an $11 million house, sis. And it's a beautiful, let's just go through what this we means. We all struggling into COVID. But this is a wonderful house you got, Michelle. Why you talking about we? You got podcasts and house and you run around talking about everything that we got to do. You got wonderful bathrooms, Michelle. Ain't that lovely for you? I'm still trying to find the we in this conversation. I see a lot of stuff for you. I see a lot of stuff that you and Barack extracted and how y'all living real good. I don't see a lot here in terms of what you talking about. Right? I don't see it. So let's just keep going. So we you know, this is a lovely home. What do you mean by we? What do you mean by we? I'm still trying to figure out the we. Can somebody tell me what the we is? Because ain't none of us living like this. Ooh wee. That's the only we I got is ooh wee. We have to turn out. We have to turn out to vote. We have to. You understand? This is something that we have to. That's what Michelle said. Michelle, let's keep looking at your house for just 1 second, please. Let's just keep looking at your house. Yes. Oh, look at is that an island? It's like on some kind of island or something like that. Look at that. Well, that's nice. That sure is nice. Ooh. Well, all right. What is this we? What is this? This is the other side of the bedroom, the boudoir, if you will. What is this? Okay. This is the other side of the outside, I suppose, if you will. I don't know who can use all that and talk to me about we. Well, what we got to do. I tell you what we has to do. I tell you what has to happen. Oh, is this the other side of it? Okay, all right. All right. Well, I tell you what, family. Somebody is living real good and real high off the hog. And I tell you what, family, I think it's these Obamas. The question becomes, though, how do you live like that and say we? That's the only question I have, family. How do you say we? Doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. And nobody at the DNC convention is giving voice to us. Nobody. The whole expectation is for us to be the mule of the party. Well, ain't that something? You got to go vote, Negroes. That's what you're here for. You got to get souls to the polls. That's what the NAACP is here for. Souls to the polls. Now, once we bring our souls to the polls, what do we get? Well, not too much. We're not really in the game of, doing stuff for y'all. No, we're not really trying to do that. We just trying to get what we need to get. You understand? We're not really in the game of like giving you an exchange for your vote. Remember what I said, fam. I said this last time and I say it again. And I said till I can't say it no more. Voting is an exchange. Like, let's go through this really quick. So if you want to say, well, Yvette, they talking about they gonna give us an exchange. Yvette, you don't know what you're saying. They said they gonna give us an exchange. They said we're gonna get something. I know I heard them talk real loud and fruity tooty about it. Well, somebody brought this up online and I meant to get the tweet, but I didn't. But shout out to you. And I thought I'd go back into it. If you go into the DNC, they got the whole platform. So go into the platform if you are so inclined and type in immigration. I want you to type in immigration and see how many times you see that there. And I want you to type in reparations. You see immigration 57 times. Reparations comes up 1 time. Immigrants and immigration is 57 times. Reparations is the heart of our black agenda. We have another agenda. We have a black agenda, but reparations is the heart of our agenda. What they are telling us is that we don't get it. They're telling us no. They're telling us show up to vote and shut up. Well, yeah, we'll show up to vote, just not for the top of the ticket. We're going to vote for everybody down ballot. We got people who running for local office, sheriff. We got initiatives we got to vote for. We're going to vote down ballot. And you one time you mentioned, and then you just say we're going to support a study. That's not good enough. So let's go a little bit deeper into this, right? Here goes the reparations part. So let's have a conversation about that. The one little reparations part right here. Let me bring it. Oh, I made it too big for myself. Hold on. It's highlighted right there. Hold on 1 second, please. We believe Black Lives Matter and will establish a national commission to examine the lasting economic effects of slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, and racially discriminated federal policies on income, wealth, education, educational, health, and employment outcomes, to pursue truth and promote, let me bring this up a little bit, and promote racial healing and to study reparations. We must acknowledge that there can be no realization of the American dream without grappling with the lasting effects of slavery and facing up to the centuries-long campaign of violence, fear, and trauma upon Black Americans. That's their one shot. That's their one little input on what it is. That's it, right? That's your reparations line. That's what you get for the whole thing. Remember, reparations is the heartbeat. That's what closes the racial wealth gap and makes us whole. Everything else is extra. You can't have a body without a heart. Reparations is the heartbeat of a black agenda. We got a black agenda, but reparations is the heartbeat. It makes us whole. You don't have none of that. You don't have none of that going on. So let's go to this. Let's be curious about this thing. Now, underneath the reparations line, there's a whole nother line which I find also curious. And understand that without us as ADOS, that line isn't even there. We made that line there. So pat yourselves on the back. We put that there. We put that line there. Nobody else did it. None of these little hodgepodge Yosemite Sam organizations did nothing. Now, read this line real closely for me. The extreme gap right below the reparations for Black Americans. Watch what they do. The extreme gap in household wealth and income between people of color, especially Black Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and certain Asian Americans and Pacific Islander communities and white families, is hurting our working class and holding us back. You made everybody Negro. These people weren't even in here doing Jim Crow. They weren't even here doing slavery. They were never been enslaved, and you threw everybody in our pot. Everybody is somehow in our pot. How? You see what they doing? They making everybody ADOS. When everybody's ADOS, ADOS don't exist. It's like a dream. Understand that. Here's the next line. Look at this. It's just a bunch of hodgepodge stuff. They just threw a bunch of stuff together. But they mention it a lot more than they mention us. Democrats believe that our fight to end systemic and structural racism in our country extends to our immigration system. So they haven't even listened. Honestly, no disrespect. You haven't fixed us. You haven't fixed us, and now you're extending systemic racism to people who came here voluntarily, and you haven't fixed the people you enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. Are you serious? This is Democratic platform? Democrats believe that our fight to end systemic and structural racism in our country extends to our immigration system, including the policies at our borders and ports of entry, detention centers, and within immigration law enforcement and agencies and their policies and operations. And Democrats will immediately halt enforcement and rescind the Trump administration. Whatever they said. You said way more about immigration than you said about ADOS. You said a whole lot about immigration. You gave us one line. Oh, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna save that for later. Another whole long line about immigration, the barriers to naturalization, a whole lot about that. That's a whole lot about that once again. Another big fat chunk about Democrats believe family unity should be the guiding force of immigration policy. So you get to bring your family here. Whole lot about that once again. They said they're going to give some to black-owned businesses. Throw that in there. Who else is in here a lot more than reparations? Well, LGBTQ is in here like 32 times. Right? So let's see. That was a good article from Vox. Let's just bring this in. That talked about what, because we don't get to talk about reparations. We talk about just criminal justice. It's like three things. Criminal justice reform. So let's see if they're going to do something else that ain't reparations, but something else. Criminal justice. Overhaul the criminal justice system from top to bottom. What does that mean? That don't mean nothing. You know what? We got to start recognizing these throwaway terms that don't mean nothing. They just throw at Negroes. We gotta really do that. We got to deal with that from the rooter to the tutor. The rooter to the tutor. Rooter, tutor. We got to deal with that rooter, tutor. Listen, don't tell me about no rooter, tutor. I don't want to hear about no rooter, tutor, top to the bottom. I don't want to hear about that. What specifically? You got job programs. You're going to release all these black men that you've disproportionately warehoused in jails because, there's another immigrant low-wage labor to take their place. Are you going to deal with that? No, we're not going to deal with that. No, not in any meaningful, real way. Decriminalize marijuana. But leave the choice of whether to fully legalize it for recreation purposes up to the individual states. The hell? Pass a domestic terrorism law to combat violence and bigots and anti-Semites and Islamophobes and white supremacists. I wasn't in there nowhere. Now let's see what they did do though. Who has the longest list of stuff to do then? If that ain't us, immigration and foreign policy got a real long list. Let's see. This is from Vox if you want to go Google it. Create a path to citizenship for unauthorized immigrants. Prioritize alternative to detention of immigrants. Bring our forever wars to a responsible end. End U.S. support of Saudi-led war in Yemen. Stop race to war with Iran. Continue ironclad commitment to Israel's security. This is all very interesting. Even, the funniest thing is, even when Michelle Obama talked, it was so interesting to me. Because something that she said was so offensively wrong. She said, let me say what during her speech, she said, and here at home as George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and a never-ending list of innocent people of color continue to be murdered. People of color. And, even when you talk about the school to prison pipeline and all of that, it's not a people of color school to prison pipeline. If you look at it, most of the time, it's just black kids. It's just black kids for the most part. Overwhelmingly, it's black kids. It's almost like we can't talk about us. Well, you can't talk about Negroes. You got to include people of color. It's other brown people. You can't just talk about yourself. Well, what if it's true? I don't care. I scared a mess. I don't care. You can't talk about that. What are you talking about? People of color. This is us. We're talking about us. George Floyd was black. Breonna Taylor, black. We're talking about ADOS people. Why are you talking about people of color in the same sentence as them? And then you go on to talk about a lack of empathy. What we get instead is chaos, division, and a total lack and utter lack of empathy. Let me say something, family. Let me say something. Let me say something really quickly. I don't know if enough of us know the difference between specific racial policy and race relations. Now, I'm not throwing no shade at nobody. I'm not trying to criticize nobody right now. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is go and read about Booker T. Washington. His plan was race relations. That's not racial policies. There were people who wanted racial policies and politics and voting and all of that. Booker T. Washington said, lay your buckets down. It was race relations. Race relations is not race policies. That's two different things. What he said is lay your buckets down, work for these white people. He said white people don't bring on no immigrant labor. Deal with the Negroes who've always been here with you. Go look it up. Booker T. Washington said it. I didn't say it. Booker T. said it. Now, empathy is a part of that kind of race relations, right? In the sense that there is this idea that we just got to get along better and we just got to feel for one another. But reparations is one thing. There are a whole allotment of policies that have to go along with it. A whole lot of policies that were never enforced as well. That were supposed to benefit us that didn't, right? Those are policies that need to be in place, enforced, etc. Race relations is just how we feel. Do white people have empathy for Negroes? And do Negroes have empathy for white people and the problems with being a Karen? That's race relations. We are going over a cliff. This is not a race relations moment. This is a racial policy in terms of ADOS uplift. This is not even a racial moment. It's a lineage moment. Race would means that I'm Nigerian or Kenyan or whatever. No, this is not a melanin moment. This is a lineage moment. This is not a time for kind of like race relations. It's not even a time for race. It's a time for lineage uplift. And there's one specific lineage, and we're talking about ADOS. ADOS is everything. And it's a problem how we get shut out of this. And it's a problem that, honestly, I'm just going to say it, Michelle, you look like a grifter to me. Trump is horrible. You're not going to get me to argue for Trump. Trump is horrible. He's ridiculous. He's unserious. I agree with that. But in terms of my vote is a very different thing in terms of the top of the ticket. I'm going to go to the polls because I believe we should go to the polls, and there are things to vote for and vote against in terms of our specific municipalities and areas where we live and agendas where we live. I'm not voting for this, though. I'm not voting top of the ticket. I'm just not. And I believe you are a scoundrel. And all of you who go and buy $11 million houses and just tell us to go out and vote in terms of empathy and all that stuff, you're all scoundrels. And there's no more room. We have to get serious about there being no more room in our group for scoundrels. And it's not just Michelle. Do y'all remember when we went 2019 and started working on a copyright for ADOS? And Talib Kweli and all these people started saying, see, they just want to make a bunch of money off gear. Oh, jump. And we went and did it anyway. And we've been, and working on it. And scavengers are everywhere. So today this comes up. Now, that ADOS logo looks familiar, but it's filed by somebody else who ain't us. It's all very, listen, I can't exist. No, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you something once I take this off because I'm tired of people. Once I take this off the screen, I'm tell you what this is. July 22nd, somebody tried to file the thing that we done been doing forever. We can't win, family, with all these scoundrels. If everybody's going to be a cutthroat mutt, you can't win. You cannot win if everybody is some kind of coyote dog. It won't happen. It will not happen. Somebody got to stop being a snake at some point. I know it's a lot of snakes, but everybody can't be a snake. You got Michelle, then you got this, you got that. It's just too much. Right? Now let me ask you, fam, how long have we been doing this? How long? People just stealing while we advocate. So we go out here and advocate. We talking to everybody, talking to the news, putting stuff. I'm trying to put the chat thing up, trying to get that up. What's going on? And there's no kind of nothing for like just doing stuff that's wrong. There has to be some kind of value set, don't it? Does it not? Because how long, let me just say this, how long, always, my thing is freezing up, fam. Hold on one second. You know you can't do nothing when stuff just freezing up on you like that. But I just want to know, how long can we can't do it. There's only so long you can do stuff like this. And people just be trying to steal and act up and act a fool. Let me know if y'all can still hear me because it's freezing up on my end. See, the scavengers got Ogun out here. All kinds of stuff going on. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. The scavengers got stuff out here. Looks like they got softwares. All kinds of different things. I don't know why I'm not bad. I can't even change my doggone image until the thing stop freezing up on me. I know y'all see the image, but I can't change it because the stuff freezing up on me. So as soon as it gets unfrozen on my screen, I will start talking to you again. But let me just talk because I can always talk. Listen, I'm tired of scavengers. And I'm tired of doing what everybody said do. Listen, this is the end of, let me tell y'all something. This is the end of the era of just doing what everybody say do. This is the end of the era of playing nice. Of y'all don't know, even with Nicole Hannah-Jones, I talked to her behind the scenes. I tried to tell her, listen, you doing this stuff wrong and you're offensive. I have tried to talk to everybody. I'm going to tell y'all right now, this stuff is over with. I'm not doing that no more. I am never doing that again. I am never talking to nobody again. These are scavengers, and I have a scorched earth policy now. These are snakes. These are dogs. These are coyotes. I'm not dealing with them no more. I'm not listening to y'all no more. Well, Yvette, some of y'all say gut them, and I'm going to gut them. But some of y'all say, well, Yvette, why can't we just, just be one with each other? And, you could just, Yvette, have you reached out to them? Do y'all know how many people I reached out to? I don't say it because some things are meant to be private. And so I don't want to put nobody's conversation out there. But I have reached out to a lot of people. Hey, don't do this. Hey, this don't make no sense. Hey, this ain't right. And they don't do anything but give me their butt to kiss. So understand something. I'm not doing this anymore. We've been selling this shirt. And this logo is up on our website and you go file for it. This is stealing, and it's not stealing in terms of we're not Nike, we're not Coca-Cola, we're not trying to do that. Understand why I even sold shirts. One, because everybody asked me to, but the second reason is this. I sold it because it's a billboard. If somebody sees you wearing the shirt or whatever, they want to say, hey, what's that on your shirt? That a hashtag? What is that? Who is that? Where they come from? How do I get on board with that? That's the whole point of selling a shirt. And somebody got to get on these people for just trying to steal all the time. Damn, you don't have a job. You don't have something you can do, something you can sell. Good God, all the time. And I heard, I don't know, but it's in Cobra and them and narking them. So if we can't beat you, we're just going to try to steal the stuff that you've been doing for a long time. These people are awful. These people are awful people. And sometimes you just gotta, what's going on with my screen? Oh, I'm mad. But sometimes you just gotta understand when people are awful. You just gotta understand that, like, these people are awful. And Yvette is totally right in terms of going at awful people the way you're supposed to go at awful people. Sometimes there's no other way to do it. And it was already filed. Somebody said, why wasn't it already filed? It was filed in 2019 by Antonio. What do you mean, why wasn't it already filed? And then we've been going back and forth with them because they said some stuff about, well, that's not broad enough. That's too broad. So we've been dealing with them. It's already filed. You shut up. You file it. It was already filed. Who do you think you're talking to? We did already file it, but we're two Negroes. We don't have a staff. We don't have people who work for us. I'm sick of this. Why don't you, instead of asking me questions, why don't you ask this Negro why he did something? So why don't you ask him why he did what he did? Why don't you ask people why they're stealing? It's always that, well, I would have done it. We two people. Do you know what we do from a day to day as two people? It's a lot. Who is that person? I'm blocking them. It's a lot. We do a lot. And you gotta call people out for stealing. Like that's the, I remember Antonio and I picked out that logo and everything. You don't just steal, man. It's supposed to be not okay to steal. I'm gonna shut this down real quick and come right back because this is some bull. I'm gonna shut it down real quick and come right back, and I'll tell you who stole. All right, family, let me know if I am back. Let me know if I am back. Let me reload my stuff too. I gotta reload all my stuff because my thing is delayed like a mug. It's delayed like a mug. Let me give people time to file right back in, fam. Let me give people time to file back in. Okay. Everybody back? Okay. Okay, so let me show you. We filed our copyright paperwork in February of 2019. That's when we filed our paperwork. And I was going to put this up to show you that the shirts have the exact same logo as the stuff. These are the shirts that are up on ADOS merch. The exact same logo. Antonio and I did that logo together. Like, same thing. We filed our stuff in February of 2019. So we filed our stuff last year. Running into some roadblocks with it for reasons that I won't go into now, but you can look it up yourself. It's there. And this fellow filed the one that I just showed you. So the question then becomes, sir, and Antonio called him and said, you know, what is you doing? And as Negroes do, they just get befuddled and bewildered. Well, you know, I got a client. I don't know. Well, it's kind of interesting though. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It don't make no sense. You're listed as the attorney. You're listed as the attorney, right? But you're also an assemblyman. But you're listed as the attorney. You're also an assemblyman. There's a lot of stuff going on in New York about reparations and race. This doesn't make sense to me. But it can't be just up to me in terms of trying to hold people accountable. I can't do this by myself. I don't know what everybody else is doing. And if you know a copyright attorney, you can reach out to me. That's fine. But you come, I say that because you come to a point, you know, I think I said this before, but you know, he's involved in the New York reparations bill. This guy who who basically lifted something off of our site, and tried to trademark it and is trying to trademark it, is involved in the New York reparations bill. So it's hard for me to believe. It's just hard for me to believe that you're not doing this for a reason that benefits you. That's not what you said to Antonio, but it's hard for me to believe that that's not what's happening. And it's a problem. You know, this is like Antonio started making this as his house. He sent it to me and said, do you like the logo? And we worked on the logo. And now somebody is saying that it just started in June of 2020. There are only so many scavengers. Like, it's vipers everywhere. I thought by this time in the movement, we would be fighting white supremacy. But I just keep having these little vulture people. Like from in Cobra to Narc, it's just little vulture people. They like little locusts and little things that just bite at my ankles all the time. You can't run when stuff is just biting at you all the time. It's all the time with these people. Like, understand how awful it is for somebody who works for a reparations movement to steal something or try to steal something, because I'll spend every penny making sure you get everything you deserve, sir. Keep it up. But understand, because I have a scorched earth policy now. I don't care anymore about who is damaged in the process of ADOS getting what we deserve. I don't care. I do not care anymore. I'm not listening to nobody else say, Yvette, hold off. I've done that long enough. I am finished. I don't care about this man. Understand, though, what it takes for one reparations group to say, you know what? We're never going to beat these people. They too smart. They too swift. And we're stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to lift something off them and paint it as our own. Now, I don't know how you think that's going to work, because there's a history of all the stuff we've been doing from the website to shirts that we can document that goes all the way back. So I don't know what you think you're doing, Dodo Bird. But understand how awful this is. We can't even fight for reparations because we got so many grifters. It's grifters everywhere. Everybody's trying to get $1. Do you not know you're supposed to try to have a meaningful life and leave something for the people to come after you? Y'all is awful. You all are some awful critters. And that's really all I can say about that. I'm not going to say too much more about that. And do the research. And do the research on this person and what he's doing. And it's not too much for you to call and say, withdraw that stuff. We trying to get reparations. This is not something for you to come up, you little pencil-headed Negro. This is not for you or whoever you work for. I don't care. You should have done your own due diligence. I don't care. I have to spend too much money and stuff on people like this all the time. Whether it's him or somebody on YouTube lifting all the stuff from my videos or Antonio's videos and post them as their own. You got to go in there and then they say some stupid stuff, so you got to get an attorney for them. It's too much attorney stuff going on here. It's too much. Narc and all these people. Narc and Cobra, all these people got these people. Everybody running bound for a little $1,000 bag. You all sell out for cheap. It's just freaking awful. Yeah, call Clyde. Call Clyde tomorrow and say, Clyde, withdraw that stuff. And let me just say I want to say to you, like the shirt I put up and everything I put up today, that's evidence of like this going back years. It's evidence. We have evidence that we filed in 2019. We have evidence of all of that stuff, of what we were told and what we did. Evidence of all that stuff. What are you doing? It's just something else to have to do. It's all the time. So you can't really get into fighting white institutions that put in place these laws and to fight. We're in the middle of an election. We're trying to deal with reparations and why Michelle Obama is saying what she's saying, and Barack Obama and who Kamala is. I can't do none of that because Negroes is stealing. And so I always have to fight off stealing Negroes. It's gotten to the point of ridiculousness. This is not something understand this ever since we started this, really. Honestly, it's been the whole time us fighting other ADOS people for the most part. Yeah, we fought some Pan-Africanists. But it's mostly ADOS that we have to fight all the time. If we don't get these people together, it'll be another 4 or 5 years of just fighting scumbags. I'm sorry. I know I'm not doing that. I'm trying to move over here. You don't just pull up somebody's logo and then that's just a waste of money too. For me to have to like go get somebody again and say, oh no, we did this. If y'all don't just freaking. And they filed this in July, saying that the first time this logo had been used was June of 2020. Come on, man. We know better than that. Don't we all know? It's easy to dispute that. Just to go show when the Shopify shirts went up. It's easy to do that. What are you talking about? I'm tired of thieving Negroes all the time. Like, it's always somebody. Well, I'm just going to take a little bit of this right now. I'm going to take a little piece of this. You don't want this little edge of the crust, do you? Well, actually, I said I want the whole piece. Ha, ha, ha. It's too much. So anyway, fam, I'm sorry. I got onto a roll, but listen, I'm done with this stuff that everybody's talking about in terms of, I know, you know, I know everybody can feel however they feel. But for me, I'm just going to tell you, for me, it's a scorched earth policy for right now. I don't care if I destroy you, because your individual livelihood or whatever you got, or whatever you think you got going for yourself, isn't as important as what ADOS is and what ADOS needs to be. So whatever needs to be done to take care of you and get you out of my way is what's going to be done. And I'm not putting it up to a vote. It just is what it is. It's this way now. So I just thought I'd let everybody know. So anyway, we're going to break, fam. We'll come back and we'll have a conversation. right, fam, we are back. Now listen, I just want to tell y'all, I don't take any anonymous calls. I do not do it. I just don't do it. So if you are anonymous in the queue right now, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You're just going to have to call from a number I recognize. A regular phone number. I'm going to take a few calls now, but do not forget that we will be doing the all call-in show tomorrow night at 9:30. So if you don't get through tonight, please please understand that you will be, and I meant to put this up. So let me put this up right now. Hold on. I meant to put this up a second. For those of you who did not see it, where was it go? Ugh. I had it somewhere. I know some of y'all may not have seen it, but these were the shirts we were talking about. It's the exact same logo as the other stuff. So it's just kind of wild to me that somebody would do that. But I guess I've seen everything, so. All right, fam. Hold on one second. Oh, all right. Got it. Now I've got it. All right. Whew. The internet has been messing up everything lately. So let me go to my first call. I am going to 917. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yvette to the Cornell. What is good?
What's going on?
Come on. You know your mom's in the chat. They try to kill a kid. They got me blocked. Come on, I'm trying to live with the fam. What's going on?
I told you to send me. Did you DM me? I told you to DM me your YouTube link. The link to your YouTube page. Well, I told somebody to tell you. I know you wanted to know.
You know, I was on there. I saw you. I DM'd you. I did
you
DM
did?
you my YouTube ID.
But send me the link to the YouTube page. It's so easy if you do it that way. You did? Make sure you say, like, in the subject line, this is Divine from Brooklyn. Because I get so many. I swear I get like 100 a day. Just put it in there and I'll get it in there. If not, just send it to editor@breakingbrown.com. Yeah, I told them they got to get your baggy socks back in there. That ain't right. Free Divine.
Listen, they trying to steal our baggy socks out here in the streets of New York. What's going on?
That ain't right. That ain't right.
That ain't right at all, but I want you to know, listen, I hear your righteous anger. I know about your righteous love for this group. I want you to know ADOS NYC is on the case. We're going to make sure we bring the heat to his ass politically, because we ain't trying to catch no cases.
No, we got no.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, so what I definitely want to say to the fam as well, as we're online and we're engaging this, and we understand we have a right to be angry, we have a right to lash out, but we also understand that this dude's a lawyer, that this could be it could be a ploy to get us, to bait us.
Yep.
Into doing some things that he can label as harassment, so we want to be real careful.
That's true.
When engaging this particular person.
That's true.
You know, he's not ADOS, he's Haitian American. You know, I think he is down with Narcan and Cobra. He lives in Queens. He represents the 33rd district, so, you know, we're still doing some of our research. So I just want to make sure I let everybody know to be real careful online. Don't just start going off.
He right.
Because we don't want any countersuit from the
side. Yeah. You know, Divine, they call that. Sometimes they call that a honeypot. Right. A honeypot is usually called when it's something too good to be true. Like somebody say, I got some information on something that's good. But this can be a honeypot too, right? Where they want you to kind of lash out in a way that's illegal or whatever. Like I said here, alleged. I don't know who you down with, but this is suspect because we know whose logo this is. We know who created this, right? So when you say that, you're right, Divine. Like, you don't be running up on nobody or nothing, because he'll try to pull a Mark Thompson. Mark Thompson swung on somebody and said, "Oh, they violent." Wait a minute, that wasn't even no ADOS man you went at. You went at a Pan Africanist, and they had nothing to do with us. But you have to watch these people, because they try to put you in a trap, right? Because they get you mad about stuff that you should be mad about, and try to get you to put yourself in a trap based on something that shouldn't even be a trap for you. It's wild.
Real talk, and it's crazy because we just went around our chapter first before you announced it, so we were trying to be real careful what we talked about and what we strategized about. But I really want you to know I understand your anger, because he really trying to turn me back to the old me. Like, I don't want to go to the Brooklyn Street to figure out how we handle it. You know what I'm saying? We advocates now. We activists now. So
we do. We believe in self-defense. We don't believe in violence, just self-defense. Yeah. That's a mess. They own some, and it's just like, it kind of feels like, honestly, like, it kind of feels like, this is what it feels like to me. It feels like they have decided that, like, we can't be ADOS, so maybe we can be ADOS. If we can't be ADOS, let's just be ADOS, right? And so it's kind of like, I don't even like the way Antonio communicated it back to me when he reached out to you, and you just kind of tried to put it back on somebody else. My brother, you're a council person, and like, and you can't, because this show is online now, you can't say like, "Oh, I didn't know," or "They didn't communicate right." I'm communicating to you right now, my brother. And let me tell you something. Like, keep playing with me, and Lloyd's going to communicate to you right now. I'm tired of this. Everybody does this. Everybody just thinks they can just freak off on ADOS and just, well, they nice, so we can just steal everything they got. No, that's not the way it works. Do something. Right. Live a life.
But I mean, what's real crazy about that's the ideology. I mean, we understand we got allies. We understand not all black immigrants, but listen, they come over here with that mindset. We're not them, but if we can beat them, let's beat them. And so, that's what is allowing them to even be here in Grifter in the first place. And so, one other thing I want to say about our allies, because we had a couple of calls since the last time I spoke with you from allies, and they call and they speak. And, being here in New York, and now with this situation with this Haitian American doing what he's doing, I really would love to have a call of action to our allies and say, listen, we understand we got Serena Harris, who is one of the best allies we have, and she does the work. And so what I want to say is, I'm really tired of the individuals that label themselves allies, but they really turn out to be just gossips of the diaspora. And what I mean by that is, they'll come back, they'll tell us everything that they're saying in these other rooms, which is a good thing. But at this point, we know a lot of it. But my mom told me a long time ago, when dealing with gossip, out of everything they tell you, the most important question to ask them is, I understand what they said, but what did you say? And so, if you're in there and you come back and tell us what everybody else said, I need to know what you said in those rooms on our behalf.
Instruction. Because I had an ally during the conference say something that was very important to me. The ally was married to an ADOS, and she told me how she had to defend her ADOS spouse to her own family, right? And I thought that was absolutely wonderful. You stood up to your family. That's what you're supposed to do. And so, like, I think you're right in the terms of, like, one level. Like, there are levels to this thing. I appreciate the information because I wouldn't know it otherwise, right? But there's always a next step to everything. The next step is, okay, you told me what happens in the room. I'm not in the room. So what do you do inside the room? I think that's important too. You're right.
Right, yeah. In a time like this, we need all the allies to not, especially in a time like this, what's going on with the DNC, we need allies to be more than just gossip. We need y'all to be more than just spies. We need you out here with us on the front line. If you're an ally, that means coming to do the work and advocating for us as far as reparation goes, and let's advocate together for this black agenda. Because, just say something real quick before the people start go. I don't want to be long-winded. I miss you, and they block me.
We're going to get you back.
It's so funny how Joe Biden has labeled this campaign, the fight for the soul of America. Yet, they had no problem giving us a soulless ticket with ADOS.
The soul of what? The soul of what?
Say it again?
You said that they had no problem giving us a soul of what? What is it? What they gave us?
No, I said they had no problem giving us a soulless ticket. No soul in the ticket.
Yeah.
And so, we need everybody, all hands on deck in this time because they're trying to give us symbolism while giving everybody else substance.
Ooh.
And that's just not going. That's not going to work no more. And my fear is that if they find a way, and I was just talking about this with a good friend of mine, if they find a way to win the election without giving us any policy, my fear is that they'll never give us policy ever again moving forward. And so this is the time, for us right now. And the last thing I'll say before I go is to the mod, to Blackpink, I don't blame you for mounting up and riding when Kunta put the call out. But, Kunta,
That's who got you? That's who got you?
Huh?
That's who got you?
Yeah, Black ain't got me because Kunta put the word out. He put the bat signal up and he ain't know no better.
Ooh-wee. What y'all doing? Y'all gotta y'all don't put, we're gonna get you back, Devon. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
I ain't worried.
All
it's
right,
all love. And NYC, we got this. Don't worry about that. And everybody else, please advocate responsibly.
All right. Appreciate it, fam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all the time, fam. Appreciate you for calling in. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. My fam Divine, he knew who blocked me. We got the juice. Ooh. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. Let me get to the next call. I'll be playing games. 816, I'm coming to you. 816, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yvette Carnell, how are you?
Pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I heard your voice, Yvette. I saw the anguish in your face. It's messed up, Yvette. They're stealing from it.
All the time.
And is there a possibility that they could get it? I'm just curious to know.
I think that's a real long shot. But the key would be, if they got it, it would be because somebody, it would have to be somebody white who like decided in the office that like, it would have to be from a higher up, more higher than that, because legitimately we got it, right? Legitimately we got everything on lock.
Right.
Legitimately, if you go back and you see who's been doing this, all that stuff and how we've been fighting and when we filed and what we've been trying to do behind the scenes, you'll know that that's ours. But we know that stuff don't always work that way. We know that white supremacy sometimes works with people who look like us, right? So, having said that, we don't know, right? Because there are all sorts of people who work together and who say, well, we're gonna cancel X and do Y. We know that they've been here and doing it and been doing all the paperwork, but hey, we know that they gonna do something that's gonna be real. What did that writer say, Dorothy? Or what kind of fresh hell is this? White supremacy works very well with black sellouts. That's all I'll say.
And that's kind of where I was going. White supremacy has too many friends that are ADOS. And it makes it real difficult for you to advocate when your people are selling you. On one hand, we here with ADOS, and you got ADOS on TV selling you out, don't want to speak about ADOS, calling you bots.
Yep.
And I just hope, and like I said, I saw your face, man. You tore up.
Yeah, because it's
and
like
it's like somebody stealing your baby.
Yeah, because you don't
somebody stealing your baby. You and Tone birthed this movement.
Yeah, and this is what.
And
Look, fam, this is what it's associated with. I'm putting it down in the level. It's associated with this. This is what makes me very concerned. But it's not just, you're right, we're stealing the baby. But it's just like, dude, am I ever gonna get to fight? Am I ever gonna get to fight racists? Am I ever gonna get to fight like white institutions? Am I ever gonna really get to fight white supremacy? Like, why do I keep having to fight like black people? It doesn't make any sense. I don't ever get to like, if you had told me 3 years ago, like, Yvette, you're going to spend the next 3 years just fighting black people, I'd have been like, you crazy. I'm not going to do that. Like, we'll be, there might be some people who don't act right, but we're going to be fighting white supremacists, and we're going to be fighting institutions, and we're going to be fighting for laws and reparations. You could not have told me then, family, that I would still be fighting black grifters. You could not have told me that. I would not have believed it. And here I am.
Well, Fed, we still sleeping with Hitler. We are still behind enemy lines. We never left Hitler. We still here. And that's not mine. I heard that on the show today. We still hanging with Hitler. If the Jews were still in Germany, it might be a different story for them. They got liberated. We liberated them. we haven't been liberated, and that's what you're working on now. And I want to thank you for taking my call. It's like I said, I wasn't even gonna call, but I saw your face. You were seriously bothered.
Yeah.
And as long as we in bed with Hitler, it's a benefit to be a sellout. I imagine the Jews would be sellouts to each other if they were still in Germany.
And they got a lot of help. Yeah. And Germany was made to change. That's the thing that we talk about the Allies now. They made them. They said you're not going to do this. You're not, and rightfully so. You're not going to exterminate people, and you're going to make this right. There was somebody else holding the people holding the gun, saying you can't do this. But then the people who were holding the gun to make sure that they did right by the Jewish community are the same people who are not doing right by us. And then not only that, now we got other people who are deciding, who look like us, who are deciding that I'm just going to try to take this and make this a win for me individually. That's not going to work.
Like you said, white supremacy operates on all levels. Somewhere, somebody might be thinking justice, but then white supremacy peeps up, and they say different, and the law just goes against you.
Yep.
And I hope it does not.
Yep.
And if it takes donations or whatever, I mean, I'll donate. I'll be glad to help with the litigation, because it's not cool. Black folk have nothing left. I take pride in being ADOS. That's the one thing I say. ADOS.
Absolutely, me
Hey,
too.
that's my one thing. We are that. That's our one connection, and we fight against it.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing. As long as we with Hitler, there's going to be a benefit to being a sellout. And we with Hitler, and I'm with you. You have a good night, Yvette. Hold
You
your
too,
head.
fam. I appreciate the support, fam. Thank you.
You take care.
All right, you
care.
too, fam.
All right.
You too, fam. Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. Like, how much time do you have to take to be fighting? Like like, it's one thing to always be fighting. You know, I want the real fight. The real fight to me was supposed to be like these people and like reparations and Congress and all this stuff. I can't even get to the real fight. So let me go to the next call. I'm going to 678. 678, what is your name? Where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Yo, Yvette.
What's up with
It's
you?
been a while, I know. And it was Nelly Dell, straight out of College Park, Georgia. I want to say thank you for holding it down for the South.
Absolutely.
Hey, first thing first, I gotta say, it's messed up that you put me after man with the silky smooth voice.
He was quiet storm, wasn't he? This is so close to the
I had
quiet
to say that. I had to say that.
storm.
Everybody's blowing them up in the chat.
104.7.
You need to call in more. Now that I got past that, you and what Tone has done has laid the foundation. We got you. We got your back. Everybody up in New York already know they're going to put my man on blast. We are a political movement, so we're going to deal with that through politics. So we got you. I could see the passion. I could see that it was really bothering you that this man tried to come at you, try to come at you in that through these tactics. But that's the tactics of white supremacy. I mean, it's in history. We see how they get down. First they come and say, oh, well, they ain't nobody. ADOS movement, they ain't nobody. We ain't got to worry about them. But then they come out and say, all right, well, now they bots. They ain't even real. Now they're going to try to send our own people at us. And then after that, they probably going to try to throw the bag at y'all, you and Tom, and say, all right, man, how much y'all going to take to get y'all out of the way?
Nope.
And these are the tactics. These are just the tactics. It's all in history. I know you said no, but we already know how they get down. But you've laid the foundation now, so you can depend on your sound. You can depend on us. We got you. We're gonna hold you down. ADOS, ATL, ADOS, New York, DMC, Cali. I know all of them. They're gonna hold you down. You put in the work, so now we're gonna build this house. And I can tell you, just like I know with everybody else, I'm putting in the work of my fam, my coworkers, everybody I know that is ADOS. We putting in the work because they're gonna have to deal with us. They might be able to come at you or Tone, but they got to deal with each and every single one of us. And the more we add to this family, the more that they're gonna have to deal with us on a political level. And I just need to make sure I say that to you, because I could see that it was bothering. I could see it's stressful. You got to deal with your own people. You got to deal with these folks are skin folk. They may not be kin folk. And it's like, man, when do I do the real work? When can I focus on the real stuff?
Yeah.
But we got you. You just put the word out there. We're going to take care of that. And you just keep giving us this lesson, giving us this word so we can do that work for you. We got you down here in the South. You already know we roll deep in College Park, so you already know we got you.
I already know.
I just need to say that.
I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate it, fam. Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot, and it means a lot. I don't want nobody to think it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And because you know, I don't bother nobody. I was about to eat, and it was late in the day, and I said, you know what? It's late. I'm finna make me a lentil loaf. Don't you judge me. I'm gonna make me a lentil loaf. I lost my appetite after Antonio, because whenever Antonio normally, if he calls me, I just call him back or whatever. When he says hit me, oh, it's something going on. Antonio don't ask for a call back. It's some stuff going on. And I said, God doggone, I don't even want my lentil loaf no more. I ain't gonna put no dates in it. I ain't gonna put no walnuts. I ain't gonna do nothing. Anyway, speaking of which, 310, what's going on?
What up, y'all? This is Antonio. I just kind of wanted to clear up some things about the whole thing. So, if you can pull up that corporation image, because, you know, I talked to this brother. He said that he's an attorney. On his face, that's what I'm going to accept. He's an attorney for now. But what we do know is that this corporation, this Reparations Council, it was formed in June of this year. This is August. It was formed in June of this year. They didn't file nothing until July 22nd, and they say that their first use of this was in June of this year. That image was made in my house, though, in like February of 2019, and we all used it as ADOS for the last year and a half. My issue ain't the image, though. My issue more so, and I had this discussion with Yvette, is that, look, I got a regular job as an attorney. Criminal defense attorney. The last thing I wanted to do today was deal with trademarks. I'm not a trademark attorney, but I figured out exactly what I need to do to figure all this out with these people. This will be less of an issue than y'all know 2 weeks ago. When you pay for a trademark, it's like $500 because it's a monthly, it's like a several month process. So this will get cleaned up. My bigger issue is this. If we can't be in the reparation phase without being like basically stolen from by black folks, then what's the point of all this? Because at the end of the day, we're not telling, look, the church thing, that do packaging for y'all and all that, we're not here for church stuff. We really just here to do reparations. That's what I'm here for. Do reparations, a black agenda, activate black folks around politics, and frame up the whole discussion around wealth. Y'all asked us for the solution. We gave y'all the solution. And my issue now is, when we're looking at this document, do we understand the gravity of the awfulness of it all? My man Tony the Closer doing the march on TREF. I told y'all TREF wasn't going to work. I'll see y'all in 2 years. We here 2 years later, and it's exactly what I said. But that was built on Tulsa real estate. Tulsa, Oklahoma. We here 2 years. LeVar Ball. I told y'all that he can't sell no shoes. He done made the shoes, and then a lot of people didn't get their shoes, and they were $500. And everybody told me, Tone, you a hater. We here, and the shoe company closed. Well, now we get to ADOS, and we designed. It ain't really, look, it's our image. We made it, but it's not really a logo in the sense. And I'm explaining this to Yvette. The problem is that even in sense of this image is not exactly what's on the shirt. The shirt say #ADOS. The image is our image. But the issue is talking about this, not with no black folks. Let it be a Jewish man that tried to do this, and then we gotta fight. It can't be. This can't come out. I ain't saying it's not. I ain't saying it's in Cobra because I don't know. But if it come out that it's them, I don't even need to hear them in this space no more because it don't make no sense. I ain't trying to trademark no narc or no in Cobra. I ain't even think those things was good. But I'm never going to try to do it if they were good. I'm sorry that we just came up with a good name, with a brand, and we hit. But I'm saying this to you because I think for a lot of people, slow down. This is less about the legality for me, because we're going to clean this up. It's more about what are we going to say as black folks Because I'm tired of Ice Cube coming out with the entertainment reparations package, or T.I. coming out with the $1 million loan that only he can use. And everybody always got to say, Tone, why can't you work with them? He tried to work with Tariq because of y'all. I never watched his videos before. I shouted out to the brother, said, let's just keep it slow down on Trump because they're going to tap in. I got all the feedback. I'm not doing that no more. I know y'all fans of that. I didn't watch him before this. I didn't watch the Tariq video and still haven't. I'm saying this to you because here we are now, and I'm not playing those games no more. I wanted to do this show before. They said, let's hold off. I guess you wanted to do it. Let's get it done. That's fine with me. My thing is just to say today, don't get caught up just on the man, it's bad that they took the logo and this and that. And more so, ask yourself the question. I'm going to leave it at this. What does it mean that in a space where we're talking about the theft of wealth from black folks, that black folks tried to steal the logo about the theft of wealth? Just want to leave it at that.
All right. Thank you, Antonio, as usual. And you know, for me, this is about a lot of stuff. Like I think for me, in terms of ADOS, this is not our fault. This is not your fault. I think this is the fault of grifters. And I think this is the fault of people who like to grift into this space. This, to me, this fault, like, it's almost as if, like, can you imagine the NAACP starting, right? And then people from another civil rights organization saying, we're going to take the logo and we're going to make it. Because there's also some evidence I didn't bring up that they also bought a website called American Descendants of Slavery. And nobody says anything. Like, everybody should say, not just ADOS, everybody should say, this is horrible. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, if you want to oppose us as ADOS, create something to do that. Create that vehicle. Now, I don't know why you would, as a black person, not just an ADOS person. I don't know why you would do that. But if you do your own thing and create something. Don't just lift something from us. Because it's not even a matter of, like, do you think you win this fight? It's not even a matter of that. It's a matter of, why should I have to fight it all the time? I'm always fighting these grifter people. And you live in New York and it's expensive. So you're a thug. I mean, in terms of just, like, what you're willing to do to maintain your space. And I know that's politics, right? But it's just too much. It's just too much to have to deal with you all the time. And then when you get reached out to, you're babbling or whatever. I'm happy that we into stuff with Tariq. People said that we should, whatever. And, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing no more listening. Well, Yvette, don't do that with him. I'm not doing any of that no more. I'm not doing that no more. And I hadn't watched much about Tariq, and that's a failure. I should have looked more about what Tariq was about. I didn't know that man. I don't watch that man. I don't watch comedians online. I didn't know he said this bedwench stuff, but I should have. Because if I had, I never would have been okay with people saying to me that you should just be cool. I would have been like, I'm never going to be cool with this person. He's a big dumb baby. That's what I would have said. I didn't say that because I didn't do my own due diligence. Because people in this space who elevate this man elevated him and they shouldn't have. And I should have just went back and looked at these videos and said, like, oh no, he's a big dumb baby. I'm not doing him. He's all kinds of wrong and stupid and just goofy. Just goofy and just weird. I should have just said that. Like, I own that all the way. Absolutely. We all got to own a bunch of different stuff. And as a leader, I accept responsibility when it's time to accept responsibility. And that Tariq stuff never should have happened. Never should have happened. Even though there were a lot of people in the chat who elevated him and who DM'd me about that. I should have researched him and said, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not cool with it. I'm not doing it. And so I accept that. And we gotta, and other people have to accept their levels of responsibilities in other ways, right? Because we all have responsibility. Mine is heavier. Antonio's is a heavier responsibility because of who we are, whatever. But we all have a level. It's just about degrees. There are degrees to this. Let me get to the next call, though, while I run my mouth. I am going to 717. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Oh, yes, this is Sister Candace L. How are you, Sister Yvette?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just wanted you to know that I am 100% agreement with you and Tone. I am one of the elders. I've been watching you for about 2.5 years now, and I don't know. This what's going on is just so heart-wrenching to me, all across the board. But I won't take up a lot of time because I know you want to take other calls. I just had one question that I wanted to ask.
Sure.
I agree with voting the ticket down. But when it comes to the presidency, if Trump happens to get in for another 4 years, my only concern is that he would put more justices in the courts. And I just can't imagine what that would do for the next generations. Like I said, I'm an elder, and I've been fighting this battle since the early 60s. I've been there. And I'm getting tired, and I'm so glad to hear my brothers that were on tonight. I applaud them, my young warriors. I can say that. I could be their grandmother, I'm sure. But I have grandchildren, and I don't know what all this is going to mean for them and their children. I have a granddaughter that turned 21 yesterday. All right, and she's planning to get married next year. So there might be a great-grand coming along within the next few years. What are these justices that he would appoint, like over 100 and something, I believe, or 200 and something that he's already appointed? That's my only concern with him getting back in. And I'll just bid you good night on that.
Okay.
For everything that you guys do.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it totally. All right, you have a good evening.
Thank you. I'll answer you offline, though. I'll answer you what I think.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it, man, because I appreciate all of our family and boomers and who will support us and all of that. Here's what I would say. The current Supreme Court, which is supposed to be a conservative Supreme Court, has really already shown that they are not so conservative in the sense that they will support LGBT rights. We saw that we saw them support DACA and immigration. We saw them support everybody except ADOS already. Whether you talk about voting in Florida or you talk about federal executions, we have already seen this court decide, even as a conservative court, right, that they support everybody except ADOS. They're not a conservative court. They support all liberals. You see what they did with DACA, right? See what they go look up the LGBT ruling. They support everybody except us anyway. So even if the court changes and continues to go right wing, they're showing that they support everybody except us. And I don't even care about, when you talk about all this other stuff, what happens is we're caught up in a moment. They're not going to support us anyway. Unless we show that we are willing and able to wield power. And wield power means doing whatever we got to do. And what we got to do right now is not do the same thing we've been doing. What we've been doing is the Democrats say, we say, well, we need an agenda. We need an agenda. And then they say, well, we ain't going to give you one. And then we say, well, all right. We'll just make it be what it is. That's what we say. Right? The problem is we can't do that no more. That's the problem. The problem is we can't do that no more. We can't do, that's not going. What we do is we complain and we rage on and shake our fists. And then when it comes time to vote, though, we say, well, we just got to do it. We can't let the Republican get in there. Now we got to say, no. We're going to vote down ballot, Democratic down ballot. But fall on your own sword. How about that, Playboy? Do what you got to do. Let's see how this works out for you, Playboy. Let's see. We're not doing this no more with you. We're not playing no more games with you. We want an exchange. Period. We finished with the games. Period. That's what we're doing. And people are going to be mad and upset. But y'all wasn't mad and upset when we voted 90-some% for Barack Obama and Latinos only voted 70-some%. Y'all wasn't upset when most white people voted for Trump. So you don't have a right to be upset with us. Kiss my butt. I don't care. No, I care about what it takes to get my group uplifted. I don't give a fly's butt about nothing else. What you talking about? Anyway, I'm going to 323. 323, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
This is Mika from LA. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I want to tell you something, Yvette.
What's up?
Baby, let me tell you something. When it comes to folks coming for you, I know what it feels like. Because you got your own mama come for your soul. Your own mama come for your life. And I'm speaking from experience. But let me tell you something. They trying to beat you down so that you'll give up. They're trying to wear you down so that you'll be too tired. The real fight and the good fight. But let me tell you what my grandmama said when I had to fight my own mama. And she told me to use that Proverbs 95 and stick people's name in it. Whatever hell, cell, or jail you planning for me will be the one you will be sitting in. And for everybody who didn't believe me, in 2008, when everybody was crying about Barack Obama is black, I said, he ain't us. He ain't us. He ain't us. He ain't us. He does not carry the inherent DNA, the memory of a slave. And so now that it's coming back to bite everybody because they didn't understand what I was saying, like I was saying something sacrilegious. I got something free to give you. You ain't got to steal this. Everybody can have this. Make this a shirt. 1619 ain't 1965. I ain't immigrated from nowhere. I was sold and stole. How about that? Keep your head up, Yvette. Don't let them break you. If my mama couldn't break me, don't let these other black folks break you. Keep it.
You right about it, fam. You right about it, fam. I appreciate the word. Thank you so much, family. Yeah, you can't let nobody break you out because people sure will try, child. They sure will try. They sure will try. People will try to break you upside down. I'm gonna try to go one more phone call, but do not forget, we can continue this conversation tomorrow because tomorrow is the free call-in day. So I come in at 9:30 and we can talk about anything y'all want to talk about. If you want to talk about this, we can talk about this. You want to talk about something else, we can talk about something else. So do not forget that day is tomorrow. So that if you don't get through today, tomorrow's the call-in show. So we can talk about it tomorrow. So just because we're ending now or whatever after this next call doesn't mean that you won't get to have the conversation. Do not forget tomorrow. The all call-in show. Everything but the kitchen sink. Let me see who I'm going to. 832. I'm coming to you. 832. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, Yvette.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, this is James. I'm an ADO ally calling from Houston.
What's going on with you?
And I'm all right. You know, all this Kamala talk, I recently went back to a video. It was when Alexander came on, and I saved this portion of the video because I had a feeling that she was going to remove that part from the video. I just want to let you know that. But what he kind of stated was this, like, you know, this was when they kind of when we talked about who her I think is not her HR, but the media person was, and basically it was a white woman or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
and also he had asked, you know, a friend, like, how many AKAs did Kamala hire or whatever. And
yeah, hold on. Hold on 1 second, fam. I just want to make sure everybody's clear. Alexander reached out to me too and let me know I could remove that part of the video because it was because the video because what he said was kind of explicit and it could have got me in trouble with YouTube. So he reached out to me after the show and said, if you need to remove that part, you can. So I don't want anybody to think that I removed that and, like, you know, he reached out to me and told me to, like, it's okay. So I just want everybody to know that. But go on, fam. I'm sorry.
Thank God you explained that because I was pissed, man.
Nah, he told me.
That is a great part of the video. But, Yeah, I get it now. Now that you explain it, I get it. Well, you know, like my fiance is also with AKA, so I kind of, you know, asked her a few questions, and you know, I just always was curious, but you know, they claim that they're not a secret society, but you know, there's a lot of things that they can't really discuss. And anyway, you know, I noticed, you know, going through your shows along with Tone, you teach, you kind of taught us like how history was written and how things were written for that particular time. And I noticed that the organization was founded in 1908, and I know one of the main things that they kind of push is to serve the community. And sometimes I always wonder, what community are they serving? Because at that time in 1908, we know what community they kind of pertain to based on, you know, learning from your shows, like what was the time that they wrote that for, you know. And I was just, you know, I just thought, you know, just like with other things, I think they need to go in and start changing a few wordings, even though they are a secret organization allegedly. But there are some wordings that they might have to go change, because we're seeing with things like Kamala Harris and other people, like it's like they're serving other things. But I also wanted to kind of add, you know, at the end, like I also tried to like go, you know, explain to her in terms of what Democratic down ballot was, and you know, it kind of took 30 minutes. I had to take a few jabs here and there because, you know, that's kind of what not all women, but most women do. But she kind of got it at the end, and it's unfortunate, but these are the things that you're going to have to do with your loved ones. Or if you don't, you know, some people don't have the goal to do it, but it almost took me about 45 minutes, but she finally got it. Yeah. So I just also wanted to end it there, and also Fred Hampton's new movie by the London guy. Yeah, that shit's hilarious. But Are You a Revolutionary? I didn't. Yeah, I just wanted to end it there. Like that whole thing is gonna be trash. But anyway, you have a good night, Yvette.
You too, fam. You too, fam. You too, fam.
All right.
No, let me just. I saw a lot of people in the chat like, what does Alexander say? I don't know if you remember the show, because I don't remember it exactly. But I think it has something to do with Kamala Harris when Alexander called in. Kamala Harris and Willie Brown or whatever. And I think he was right. He was more right than wrong. But what happened is, you know, Alexander was always a friend of the show. I haven't heard much from him lately, but what he said was it wasn't wrong, but it's just YouTube has certain guidelines in terms of what can and cannot be said, what kind of explicit language can and cannot be used. And I think the language that he might have used about Kamala and Willie Brown might have been just a little bit too much. And so he texted me and said, you know, if you want to, because Alexander had my number. He still has it. I still got the same number. But he said, if you want to take that out, you can. I realized after the fact, kind of I got heated or whatever. It was a good comment, though. It wasn't nothing wrong with the comment. It was just not a comment for YouTube. Right? So I took it out because it wasn't a comment for YouTube. It's a comment to have a conversation amongst each other. So I took it out. And that's what the caller was referring to. When he said Alexander, that's what. If those of you who saw it live, y'all remember. It's just that I'm trying really hard to stay in the bounds of the YouTube guidelines, because I'm trying really hard. I don't know of another space where I can advocate and reach as many people than this YouTube space. So I work really hard. To maintain this channel and stay within those guidelines. That's all. Like, and it's no shade to Alexander. He said some real stuff, but it was just not stuff that I would really want to have said like on YouTube. And like I said, he reached out to me and said, like, if you need to get rid of that, was it too much? And I was like, yeah, it's too much. I think it's too much. And he was like, well, if you need to get rid of it, it's no shade on me. I understand. So that was that exchange. For those who don't remember, for those who know, you know. For those who remember, you remember. For those who might not have been here, then maybe you was just a little bit too soon for you. So, fam, we are at the end of the show. Please do not forget. I'm going to end the calls now, fam. Don't forget, though, we got tomorrow. So if you got something you want to say, call in tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. For the all call-in show. Okay, so you can say whatever you want to say. You can any topic you want to talk about, or holler at me about, or holler at the chat about. You can do it then. So that's going to be tomorrow night, 9:30. Please hit the like button before you go. Hit that like. Cost you no monies to hit the like button. Cost you no monies to hit the like button. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Hit the notifications button. If you want to donate or be so inclined, you can go to donatebrown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell or adosmerch.com for a shirt. A little backed up on some of those. Got a couple emails today. I'm getting back to you, but I'm going to be sending some off mailing some off Friday. I'll be putting labels tomorrow, but mailing some off on Friday. So a lot of you will get those coming up soon, fam. Anything else I got to hit on? No, I don't think so. Just the show for tomorrow, fam. So be here or be square. We just gonna talk it up, chop it up, and talk about a whole bunch of different kinds of stuff. So for those of you who are gonna be tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow. I don't know how many of y'all are gonna be at the thing tomorrow, the other thing. There's a lot of stuff going on at the Black House tomorrow. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me know. Anyway, fam, I will talk to you soon. Be easy breezy and finish your libations.